Leaving Omaha, talking nonstop. At the bus station, I stood on line in front of two black women. From their diction as they conversed, I could tell they were educated professionals. In a mental dialogue with myself, I said, "Teachers, I hope I do not sit behind them. They will be talking all the way to Chicago." There was a long line waiting for the arrival of the bus. When it finally pulled into the station, the bus filled up. The front seat near the driver was taken. I moved to the rear. The two women took the seat directly behind me. I stowed my gear on the floor in front of me and took out my trusty companion, a novel. If the two women were going to talk nonstop to Chicago, I would lose myself in some faraway place. Before the bus left the station, one of the women stood to arrange something in the overhead luggage rack. I looked up and exclaimed, "Barbara? Barbara Beasley?" She looked down into my face and cried, "Nicky!" This was my nickname since I was a child, the name all the scouts called me. I stood and knelt with one knee in the seat to look at the other woman in the seat behind me. "Eloise!" I cried. I had not seen her in 24 years. The Beasley sisters were both Girl Scouts at St. Benedict's Church and school. Barbara was in my first troop, while Eloise was in the second troop I helped organize, with Lillian Bradley as leader. Completing high school, Barbara went to the convent, where she took the name Sister Victor Cornelius. After Vatican II, she reclaimed her birth name. When she was ready to take her vows, I wrote and asked her what she needed. At the time, I was living in Hannibal, Missouri, where my husband had his first medical practice. Barbara sent me a list with sizes. I gave the list to my dressmaker. She made 2 black gabardine skirts with very deep pockets. In the Hannibal stores, I was able to find a black, heavy knitted sweater, a package of a dozen men's handkerchiefs, white, and the remainder of the list. I mailed the box to Barbara, who wrote back, "Nicky, you were supposed to choose one thing." It was my delight to participate in this one activity in which I was privileged to help. On the bus, Barbara left Eloise to sit with me. What memories we swapped. Needless to say, the two women talking nonstop to Chicago were Sister Barbara and I. Chicago, Illinois, the 3 cousins. Stopping briefly in Des Moines, Iowa, Barbara and I walked to a local bus stop, sat, and continued our talk. We arrived in Chicago late at night. As Barbara and Eloise went to greet their cousin Darnisha, who was waiting for them, I went to find a safe seat near the ticket counter. Moments later, they joined me. Barbara asked what my plans were. I said, "I'm on my way to Kokomo, Indiana to see Marsha Patton Ball. My bus doesn't leave until tomorrow morning, so I'm safe here near the ticket counter." Barbara was shocked. She said in her most proper nun voice, "Nicky, I can't leave you sitting in this bus station all night." I said, "But that's what I've been doing on this trip, except when I know someone in the city." Barbara said, "Well, not tonight." Turning to Darnisha, she asked, "Where is the nearest hotel?" Her cousin, who had also been a St. Benedict's Girl Scout, answered, "There's a hotel down the street, in walking distance." She turned to me and said, "In the morning you will have no trouble finding your way back to the station." We followed her to her car. While I sat in front, Barbara and Eloise squeezed into the back with the luggage. We chatted some more. At the hotel, Eloise got out and helped me claim my cart from among the luggage. Thanking Darnisha profusely, I turned and gave Eloise a hug. Barbara accompanied me into the hotel and requested the room rate. While I filled out the registration form, Barbara paid for the room. She and I hugged. She asked, "Nicky, are you going to be all right?" I assured her I would. We hugged again. Grabbing the handle of my luggage cart, I headed for the elevator that would take me to one of the top floors. I dared not look back because I would have cried. After so many years of separation, the chances of our ever meeting again were slim to never. I treasured that day. I continue treasuring it. Before going to bed, I wrestled with a haiku poem in honor of Barbara's unselfish gesture. First I wrote, "She said, I can't leave, and so she paid for my room. Chicago summer." Not satisfied with this, I tried again and wrote, "She said, I can't leave until she paid for my room. Chicago summer." I gave up and went to bed. It had been a long day and evening, but most deliciously exhilarating. Chicago fog. The next morning, I looked out the window, and down below I saw fog hovering over the rooftops, partially hiding the skyscraper buildings. I was enthralled. Not giving a thought to my agoraphobia, I pulled a chair and table out onto the minuscule balcony. High above the rooftops, I assembled my art supplies. First with the pastel crayons and then with watercolor paint. I recorded the moment with picture and words. In the distant fog, Chicago skyline rising. Roses are fading. Why are you rising? Oh, to see the fog shroud mourn and the fading roses. Oldenburg's monument. Pulling my cart, I left the hotel and walked back along the street over the bridge of the Chicago River and on to the bus station. When I checked the time of departure, I had more than enough time to return to the giant bat. While painting this gargantuan piece of modern art, a security guard came out of a nearby building and gave me a bit of information about the bat. It was created by the Swedish-American pop artist Claes Oldenburg. Other pieces of information I included in the haiku poem. Above the treetops, Oldenburg's 8-story bat, summer reposing. Did you see the bat? Claes Oldenburg's metalwork. Green trees stand below. As I walked away, I thought the bat was a modern monument to man's need to play.